Sometimes it's great to hear from an agent that is using the technology specifically in their business. Today, we've got Whitney Lohr. She's going to share with us custom GPTs that you can apply in your business today that's going to make a difference.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate AI Flash. I'm your co-host, Rajiv Sajja, with my one and only co-host, Jimmy Burgess. And today is a special guest time for us. We have Whitney Lohr from Tampa, Florida, with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Properties Group, and she runs the Florida Living Group. So welcome to the show, Whitney.
Great. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, definitely. So, love to have, you go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was just going to say, this is going to be fun, Whitney, because some of the things that, as we've found out, some of the things that you're doing we're going to try to break this down from a basic standpoint to where the things that you're doing are just next level. I know that Rajiv has been working on some of these custom GPTs as well. And the advancement in this, he and I were together last week. And as we sat there and he just said, hey, by the way, I just did this. And he pushed play on this thing. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me how fast this is advancing. So maybe, Rajiv, I'll turn it over to you. If you want to explain maybe what a GPT is, Chad, and just we'll go from there.
Very early on, I think three of us can recognize when we first got access to Chat GPT, we had the free version. And then the paid one came early, like March of 2023, that introduced the concept of plugins, which was a way to extend your workflow. And then January of this year, OpenAI said, no more plugins. We now give you access for the paid users now, something called Custom GPT. Unlike plugins where you need to be a technical person to know how to code this stuff, Custom GPTs has really exploded on the scenes because anyone that can articulate and prompt can build a GPT. Case in point, plugins, there were like 1,200, Jimmy, when we did our plugin episode. Right. And now we got 3 million plus custom GPTs in the GPTs. That just shows you that prompt engineering is not a technical term. It's more of a communication term. And what I enjoyed talking to Whitney about today in the episode is she sort of figured out what she needs for her business to build efficiencies, and she's built her own GPTs, which are called Custom GPTs, that you can publish. You just need a paid Chat GPT account to do so under Explore GPTs on the left menu. So that's a good introduction, level set for our audience today. And I'm sure we'll dive into it a little bit more. But Whitney, love for you to sort of maybe kick off our podcast and kind of talk about your journey with ChatGPT and what made you sort of focus on, let me take it to the next level and kind of build custom GPTs.
Absolutely. So I think we all started, just kind of like, ooh, what is this ChatGPT? And I would have it to respond to emails or, just really low level everyday stuff. And when I figured out the the custom GPTs, that's when my life became so much easier as an agent. And a lot of people are really worried about AI and, is it going to replace us? No, I just believe it's going to make us better wholeheartedly. So the custom GPTs that I use, there's really like 4 or 5, and I'll just kind of go over those really. So one of them is for listing descriptions. I had 3 listing descriptions this weekend that I had to write for properties that are going on the market. And I wrote those, all 3 of them, less than 45 minutes this weekend. So what I did with the Chat GPTs and my custom ones is, what do I do every single week? What do I prompt Chat GPT for? And how do I create a custom one? So when you go in and create a custom one, you're not telling ChatGPT every single time what you want it to do. You're telling it once, and then it just gets better and better the more that you use it. So for example, let's say that for the listing description, it was using like really elaborate words. Well, one time you go back into it and you say, that's not the way I want you to sound. So when I look at my listing descriptions, I make sure that I tell it, have a hook, My first sentence needs to sound luxurious and sounds catching that they want to keep reading. So I keep giving all that information to it. And then every time I have a listing description, I go back into that one custom GPT that I made, and it spits it out, a lot quicker and sounds a lot more like me.
It's great.
Yeah, Jimmy, a good analogy for custom GPTs is it's like a trained employee. We talk about ChatGPT being an untrained employee. This is almost like Whitney's got a trained employee for listing descriptions. And you tell the GPT to do something, it just spits it out. And it's like already at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, it really does. And you just keep going back. If you don't like it, go back and tell it. I even have in my listing descriptions, my listing chat GPT, the custom one, I say, if you don't understand something, ask me a question, because maybe I forgot to tell it how many bedrooms it had. So it'll come back to me and say, how many bedrooms does this house have? So it's been a game changer for me. I also do seller. We do a lot of social media. So I have one for seller content, and I'll tell it, make me sound professional, but maybe approachable. Don't add, don't be flamboyant, just make sure that it sounds like me. And also we do a ton of video. I mean, our team, we probably do about 150 videos a month. And so what we do when we have these long form ones and I need a script, and I don't read a script word for word, but I need somebody to kind of come through and tell me, kind of give me the parameters of it. So I will take one of my videos, put it in Rev. Rev will give me a transcript. And from that transcript, I will upload it into my custom GPT, and it will start to sound like me for my scripts.
That's awesome.
So that's been a game changer, because we were doing a neighborhood video, and it was a long form one. And I was like, all right, chat GPT, write this thing for me. Guys, I have to tell you, it was awful, because it didn't sound like me at all.
Right.
It wasn't me. So the more that you get it to sound like you, the better your information is going to be.
This is so good. Yeah, these are the things like we're talking about. This is literally the evolution of the technology. And like you say, the more questions or the more you correct it, the better it gets. And it just keeps getting better and better. I love the idea of utilizing that. Obviously, when you can't do 150 videos a month, much less a year, without having some assistance on these scripts and doing those things. So that's really powerful. The listing descriptions obviously makes a ton of sense. Any other ways that you guys are doing some specific ones, maybe that we could learn from, Whitney?
So MLS data is so important. I mean, especially these days, when the market's shifting, doing whatever, I take my zip code and I do single family, and I download everything from MLS. I then take it and I upload it into my custom chat, and it says 33647 data. And really the prompts that I'm giving it, I've just started that, are analyze this data that I've given you for looking at trends, looking at price per square foot. I also have had to tell it, because it didn't know what an SP was versus an LP. So a sales price versus a list price. So I've had to give it some information in my custom. But the great thing is, as I feed it every single month, the middle of the month, I'm going to download this data, upload it. I wanted to start seeing the trends. Now, really important for this one, I've cut off the web part of it, because it can still search the web. I don't want it going anywhere else except for my data. I don't want it to go to any of those big sites. I want it to see my data from there. So I've just started that. So I think that'll be kind of interesting, because who has time to always read through this data when we're running as hard as we do?
Yeah.
Hey, so Whitney, when you're uploading that data, you've got it there, you're asking it to break those things down. How do you, once you have that done, are you asking it then to give you social media posts or video scripts or to set it up as how are you doing, what are you doing with that data once it analyzes it in a way that you format it to be able to distribute it out?
That's a great idea, Jimmy. I hadn't even thought about that. I'm
See,
more looking
Whitney,
for.
see, yeah, see, not only is the technology getting smarter, we're trying to get smarter too. So this is perfect, So
Absolutely.
no, Whitney, this is really helpful. Any other things that you're doing now? Because like you said, you're just starting some of this stuff. And I think that's the beauty of this is that this information, somebody's listening to this right now, that we've queued something, just like we were just talking, that is going to give them the ability to continue to build on that. Anything else you guys are doing right now as far as specifically with the GPT, the custom GPTs?
So those are really the ones that we're playing the hardest with. Now, as far as Chat GPT goes, we took our Google business reviews and we uploaded them. And the one prompt that I said is, tell me what our customers are saying about us. And I just took the whole thing. I didn't care if I responded to it, what it was. I just copied and pasted it, put it in there, and it gave us our bullet points of who's our avatar of our customer. What are they liking about us? What are they saying about us? And it gave us our marketing and also be able to know what's really important to our clients and what have we made a difference when we're talking about, serving them. What have we gotten right?
So good.
So amazing. Whitney, you do 150 videos a month. That's a lot of video. And Jimmy, that is approaching Jimmy's standard now.
No, I'm feeling like I don't do enough. I'm just sitting here talking to Whitney. I feel like I'm not doing enough. I know.
So one of the things I've recently started, and this may help both of you, is I started driving more stuff to my YouTube channel. I'm learning from Jimmy, but one of the things that I've said is, okay, what are the things we do regularly every week, to your point? Anything you have a process for, you can build a custom GPT for. So I said, okay, like for example, this podcast is going to be on YouTube also, and all the channels that we put up. So this morning I uploaded our episode that's coming out on Wednesday, and I gave it, what is the things we discussed? And I have a custom GPT. Give me the titles, 3 titles with a hook. I can pick one, and I pick one, iterate. Then I give it the title, and I say, now take this title and write me description for YouTube. And then now I agree on the description, and now take this description and write me the hashtags. And it saves me, because I was just wildly thinking about what to write. Now it gives me a set script, SEO optimized. So I have a YouTube wizard, custom GPT.
There you go.
Right. So I think it almost
is public. Is that public, Raji? Is that one public?
That I picked it up from the store because I tested a couple of ones. So I'll send it to you, Jimmy. But
absolutely.
And we'll include it in the show notes for those of you that are listening. But to your point, if it's my own GPT, like I build one for listening presentations, I can go and edit it and make it better, like train it more over time. So this is not like a one-time thing you build. It iterates, it learns, and you can make it kind of use certain language, not using fair housing words, like don't use these words, buyers, etc. So I think this is the true game changer for GPT as of today. I think ChatGPT, the way it separates itself from all the other AI stuff, if you're paid, is custom GPTs. Take it to a whole other level.
I agree.
Hey, and Whitney, I think one thing when people are looking or making their GPTs, you can actually there's 2 ways to do it. You can have it to ask you questions and it will build it. I found that it's better if you build it yourself. And I'll even open up a second Chat GPT and ask it, what are the questions that I should be asking if this is what I'm looking for the outcome?
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. Hey, speaking of that, Whitney, as we kind of wrap up here, what are some things you're excited about, and where do you see this headed? I mean, obviously, we're all still relatively new to this, but you can already see the efficiencies it's creating in your business. What are you excited about going forward, and what do you see coming?
I'm really excited because we're so listing heavy as a team. I can't wait until that catches up. We've had the Dolly, which looks like animation. We've started using Firefly. We find that that's great. It's a little bit easier to use. It also is more realistic. for you. So we're excited about that. I can't wait till there's some editing. You know, we've tried Opus. That's been okay. We'll upload like a 20-minute video, and we might get 4 or 5 that are okay short form videos. That's where we're getting a lot of our content, is we're taking our long and making it short and repurposing a lot of that. So when that happens, I'll be really excited to have that, to be able to save some time on the editing side.
That's great.
And also the B-roll of, you know,
Yeah.
these videos and stuff. Like, the pictures are getting there, and, you know, we've started playing with Google Earth as well, to be able to get some of that Tampa, you know, local, and I don't have to send my videographer out to get that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see as that all develops.
Hey, Whitney, with all these videos and all this content you're creating, please share with us where people can find you. Because if there's one thing I would suggest is, it's one thing to hear about how this is done. It's a whole other thing to go actually follow Whitney, follow the team, see how it evolves. Because what I like to do, Whitney, is like after this, obviously I've been watching your stuff, but as we go forward, I'll love to see how you continue to elevate it as you go forward. So where would people check some of your stuff out?
So on YouTube and Instagram, we're Florida Living Group. That's where you can find most of it. And I do have a little bit of a handout that we did for another seminar that we did that I'd love to share with you guys, and whoever's listening. Go ahead and send that information out. It actually will talk to you and show you step by step of how to use and create a custom GPT.
That's great. Phenomenal.
Yeah, that'd be
If it's
great.
okay with you, we'll just share that in the show notes. Anybody that's listening can check that out. If they're watching this on YouTube, we'll have it down in the description as well. Whitney, the website, as far as that goes, for people to check you guys out, what would that be?
FloridaLivingGroup.net.
Perfect.
And
This
Whitney,
has
I
been
tell you,
tremendous.
we have an AI playbook, and I've already written the thing for building a GPT, but we've
Okay.
not updated it. But, you know, if you've already done it, we might just give you the credit and put it up there. And because it's all about serving the whole real estate community at large. So appreciate you.
Absolutely. Rip it off and deliver it. That's what I say.
Rip it off, give it
That's
credit, and deliver it.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Listen, Whitney, this has been phenomenal. I know that you got some value out of this. If you have, make sure you go out and you check out all of Whitney's sites, whether it be on Instagram, whether it be on YouTube, and of course the website, and let her know how much you appreciate this. As Rajiv and I always say, we are stronger together. This is a perfect example of that. As we've sat here, I've taken notes of some ideas that I'm going to run by and check a few things out just from what you've prompted for me, Whitney. So can't thank you enough. Everybody take care, and we will talk to you guys soon.